Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers, and a very happy Christmas to all of you at home. So welcome to a brand new episode of my weekly series of ranking every single season and series of Doctor Who from 1963 down to 2022. Soon to be saying that, going from 1963 down to 2023. So, this episode is of course in 19th place. So, what season do you think I've put into 19th place out of this whole season's ranking? Well, it is no other than Doctor Who Season 7, the season that was actually broadcast from the 3rd of January to the 20th of June 1970, containing over 4 stories, which is, of course, Doctor Who Spearhead from Space, Doctor Who and the Silurians, Doctor Who the Ambassadors of Death, and, of course, Inferno. Now, this is my second favourite Jon Pertwee season. So, as you probably know, I've actually gone and said seasons 9, 8 and 11 already for the Pertwee era, which means we only had 2 seasons left, and of course season 7 is in 19th place. But that means my all-time favourite Pertwee season, and you can probably guess it, is way higher in this list. I'm going to say this is actually in, believe it or not, in 6th place. So you've got a long while before we get to my 6th place of ranking every single season and series of Doctor Who, and there have been 39 videos. So, Season 7, what can I say about it? What makes it pull it into 19th? Well, it's 4 stories, and I think it's 25, 26 episodes, because it was on for a very long time, from the January to the June. Literally, we got a 4-part story, then we go to a 7-part, then another 7-part, and then another 7-part for the rest of the season. So what can I say about Season 7 that makes me really enjoy it so much to put it very this high up in the list? Well, it is the very first season to go into colour for Doctor Who. Yes, back in 1970, Doctor Who went into colour, and this was the very first season. So the Doctor's been exiled onto Earth. He's stuck on Earth, and of course he has to make UNIT. He has to join UNIT. Meanwhile, we have got Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, and of course we have Elizabeth Shaw, and of course Sergeant Benton in this season. And this season is very groundbreaking, because this was a season, if it failed, it failed. If it worked, it worked. And luckily for us Doctor Who fans, it full on worked. Sorry, this season full on worked. Season 7 did, because we managed to get 20 up to 26 seasons. This season was absolutely brilliant from the word get-go. So, I'm going to talk about some of the stories and what I think about the whole season in general. So, the first story is, of course, Spearhead from Space, where we kind of see a meteorite shower of little bombs landing near some woodland. And, of course, during the same location, the TARDIS materializes with a newly incarnation Doctor. Well, should I say a newly regenerated Doctor, ends up falling out of the TARDIS after his punishment from the Time Lords, and of course, us humans take him into hospital. Because we are just a bunch of pathetic little morons. That's what we are, because we know we've got an injured person. Oh yeah, we don't know what type of blood he is, but we'll just send him into hospital so he can try and be dissected. So the first episode is literally setting up this whole season, this whole story. So you got the Brigadier in the meeting with Liz Shaw, and of course they get a call saying, "Oh, we found somebody near a police box," and the Brigadier goes, "Right, I'll be there in a matter of minutes. Don't worry about a thing. I'm on my way." Thinking it's the second Doctor, so of course Brigadier goes in to meet the 3rd Doctor, and this is the first time he turns over and goes, "I thought you knew," and he goes, "Brigadier, oh, my dear fella, how nice to see you again." What? They kind of changed me out. And then, of course, he gets handed a mirror and goes, "Oh, no. Good gosh. That's not me at all." Which I really love that line. And, of course, Doctor basically does end up being kidnapped by the nesting consciousness. And, of course, he comes to life and rolls away in a wheelchair. So, why trying to make it back to the TARDIS, where 2 unit soldiers are guarding? One of them shoots him in the head, and he goes like that. But luckily, the bullet graces off his head, and the Doctor basically falls unconscious again. And then, of course, just before the titles roll in, we have somebody go, "Who told you to fire, you stupid?" Part 1, I absolutely love Part 1. It does set up. And then, of course, when we get to episodes 2 up to 4, this is when the magic really starts, because the Doctor ends up stealing clothes from the hospital. He ends up stealing a car from the hospital. He goes and fights the bunch of Autons, the very first one. Even he ends up getting his hands on a Nesting Consciousness's mobile little unit. And of course, he gets attacked by a Nesting Consciousness by being attacked by a big giant tentacle. Plus, it's all set in a plastic factory warehouse, and that's Spearhead from space. So the next one is, of course, Doctor Who and the Silurians. So we are in the middle of Derbyshire. Yes, we go to the middle of Derbyshire because we've got this plant of some sort of future thing, and the power's being drained. And basically, it's because us humans have gone and built this nuclear kind of power station. Right underneath it is a whole old base full of Silurians, and only 3 Silurians do get resurrected and start bringing out this deadly plague. The Doctor's there got to try and find a cure for the plague, so the Silurians go and kidnap him. I love the fact when the Doctor meets him, he goes, "Unless you Silurians tell us what you want, the humans will destroy you." I love the way how the Doctor literally just says that. And then, of course, when you see Victor using the little red thing, and the Doctor goes like that, and then you just get that cliffhanger. That is just another brilliant cliffhanger from the season. I love the bit where you got Liz Shaw investigating this kind of farmer's barnyard, and then the Silurian just attacks her and she screams. And of course, the farmer gets attacked by Silurians as well. And how does the Silurians get defeated? Well, the Doctor basically just sends them back to sleep, but the Brigadier goes and bombs all the Silurians up, which really makes the Doctor start not to like the Brigadier in a way. But the Brigadier thinks he's doing the right thing, and the Doctor thinks he's doing the right thing, which really, in this story, they both kind of go mishmashy. So, Ambassadors of Death is next. What can I say about the Ambassadors of Death? Well, it's a good story, to be honest. I do think it's a bit too long, and the way each story pans out, and you got the whole titles, and it stops, and then you go into it with the whole Space Capsule 7 being kidnapped, and then, of course, it goes, no, and then you go to the big sign saying the Ambassadors of Death, episode 1 or episode 2 or episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6. Yeah, the Ambassadors of Death is not really a great story. I enjoy this one. I know another sci-fi guy absolutely does. He doesn't like this story as much. He thinks it is a bit too long. Yes, I do agree. It is too long. He has to turn it off to have a break. I have to admit, I can actually watch this one all the way through. I never get bored of it. Yes, it is too long. I think this should be like a 5 or 6 part, not 7. But it's still very much enjoyable, especially when you kind of have all that build-up where you kind of think the aliens have just landed to invade and they've already been on the Earth the whole time. Yeah, I absolutely do enjoy the Ambassador's Death. Plus, we have that wicked car chase scene with the kind of like people that's behind this whole thing with the aliens as well. And you got Liz Shaw driving Bessie, and you kind of got that wicked kind of car chase scene, and she's there running, and then it comes up to a cliff, and then that's when it just ends. I really do enjoy that cliffhanger. And then, of course, the 4th and final story of the season is, of course, Inferno. So, what can I say about Inferno? Well, it's absolutely a fantastic story. So, this is the very first time we actually go into a parallel universe. And in this parallel universe, the Doctor basically witnesses its own destruction. Because in this parallel Earth and our Earth, the same thing is starting to happen, but they are a couple of hours before us, where the Doctor ends up basically going into a parallel universe that's literally a couple of hours before what actually happens. So the Doctor gets back, because the only reason he ends up in a parallel universe sorry, the only reason he ends up in this parallel universe is because the Doctor being the Doctor, because he doesn't like being stuck on Earth, so he's messing around with the TARDIS console. And while messing around with the TARDIS console, he actually gets flinged into a parallel universe where we got a weird Colonel Lethbridge Stewart, not the Brigadier, because this one's wearing a face patch. We have a weird version of Liz Shaw. God knows what their version of the Doctor is. And then, of course, the whole world just explodes, and the Doctor goes back into his own universe, and then he does stop it from happening. And then, of course, him and the Brigadier have an argument, and the Doctor thinks because he's got the TARDIS working, he can go. But he ends up going into a garbage boat. And then, of course, the Brigadier goes, "Pompous, did you call me Doctor?" "Yes, I think I was a bit hasty, Brigadier." And then, of course, you got them literally just walking at the door, and you got Liz Shaw doing that, like, smile. And then that's the end of the titles. So, Season 7 is, of course, my second favourite Pertwee season. It's in 19th place because I was going to try and put this a bit higher, but there are more seasons I do physically enjoy over season 7. I have to be honest, there are just so many great seasons I physically enjoy more than season 7. But season 7, you know what, it's in 19th place. It's not a bad season. I really enjoy it. I just really enjoy it. It's my second favourite Pertwee season. Spearhead from Space, amazing story. Dr. St. Lawrence is amazing. Ambassador Zeph, I really enjoy. And of course, sorry, and of course, Inferno. So, what do you think of Doctor Who Season 7? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, and share, and join for more awesome Doctor Who content. Have a cracking day, you amazing viewers and subscribers. And I hope you all have had a very good Christmas. And, of course, you will probably see me in the week before we get to New Year's Eve. And I will say a Happy New Year to you all if you don't get to see any videos in the week, because I am busy with work this week. Although I do have Tuesday off, and I could do a nice video on Tuesday. Yeah, probably my next one will probably be on Tuesday, I'm not too sure. So anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think of Doctor Who Season 7? Is it a season you enjoy? Is it not a season you enjoy? And as you can tell, I have changed my room around a bit. With now I've got my DVD box sets here with my new seasons, with my new DVD box sets from series 1 to 7 in the little skinnier version, rather than having the big chunky ones there. So, join me for more awesome Doctor Who content. Have a cracking day.